Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Welcome back to the next episode review for Reincarnated as a Sword, episode 6. Already halfway through now, but I'm having so much fun with this series. I've been enjoying our characters of Fran and Teacher. It's been a very interesting series, especially for an isekai series, and I have enjoyed these two characters a lot. Basically father daughter type of chemistry, right? Sword teacher, being the father figure for Fran, right? And after picking up I'm showing more how their bond is, how more stuff they've grown, And after they pick up the last episode where they fight this greater demon in this dungeon, and try to get to the which is that rare goblin, which is the dungeon master. Ends with how picking up how when the greater demon was using a steel taker, trying to steal her abilities away from her. But the thing is, though, now it doesn't work because her and the sword have different skills. So basically, you think that there's like all in one though, but there isn't because they're both separate though. So that basically didn't have no effect though, which that kind of was like a relief for them, right? And they have been able to admit, especially Fran has been able to admit that this guy is much stronger than her, right? And they thought it was like an ideal retreat. Would think will retreat, will be a good thing though, right? But Fran points out though, even though they do, the people that like her allies and stuff, and these people will still die though if they don't stop this guy, right? So. Yeah, they should retreat, but what good will that do? Because people will die afterwards. So they have no choice. But she has no choice but to carry on, though, right? And once again, the fighting with the animation was really well done. With mixed with the attacks and the dodge and all that stuff. That it was really well done for animation for all the action scenes, right? And one thing leads to another thing. How are we gonna stop this guy, right? And when they had attempted to attack which they figure out that the dungeon master, because they have to take out the dungeon master. If they do, the core will be halted, and all where all the goblins or monsters where it's been summoned by the dungeon master, dungeon master will cease and assist. Right, they'll just disappear afterwards, no more. Right. So they attempted to attack the dungeon master, and the greater demon goes and barges in and protects the guy. So they found out that his weakness is that the greater demon, the weakness is that he has to protect this guy, or else he'll just vanish afterwards. So they're fighting all their fire magic on them, and the demon he's created this big barrier, trying to put up his defenses. Even though it won't have a much big impact, though. So, using their smarts, they decide to basically, it's divide and conquer, basically. Divide, one side do the distraction, the other one does the attacking, right? Basically it's divide and conquer. And which as I call it, just probably for this thumbnail, divide and conquer. Because that's what they do. Fran she'll keep on firing the fire magic, right? Just for the guy to keep his defenses up, and while Teacher acting on his own, is going to make an arc, try to go away around to attack the dungeon master, right? And I thought this tactic was kind of a genius part, because where they think that's the guy is going to go for the dungeon master, right? But instead, turns around, is going to just go straight for him instead, right? Because he has a big crystal that's in him, right? So Teacher goes and attacks him though, right? But then just using all of his remaining power, it's just going to drive right through him because he also wants to protect Fran. You hurt Fran, you have me to pay for basically. So he uses all of his powers and just goes and drives himself right through that greater demon, and the crystal breaks, and then that greater demon dies, and Fran, assuming for the moment that Teacher is dead, right, and just bawling her eyes out for him. But Teacher goes and says, "Hey, I'm not dead yet, I have self recovery too, And just Fran is her action's like, oh, acting a little pouty. Everybody's like, oh, I thought you were dead and all that. So then Fran goes and takes the greater demon's sword, right? He takes his sword and breaks the dungeon master's wand or whatever that big thing is, and it also cuts his hand off because that has like some sort of bracelet that's valuable or whatever. Cuts his arm, part of his arm off, arm, and it puts it deposits into their inventory, right? And then the guy just drops down like this, and Francis is like, okay, now you die now, and teacher goes and says, hey, the guy's already dead. So yeah, he drops like this, and he's already dead. So the whole dungeon vanishes. So it's like going from like a cave to like an empty labyrinth room, you know. And all the remaining heroes, the adventurers, including Dol was like the guy who was her friend's test at the guild, right? Donorai, mispronounced his name, sorry. Donolau comes in, it's like, oh, you took out you took him out, and I like how Fran just casually says, yes, or well, if he's in the Japanese, like, well, but saying yes though, but so casually like, yes, and they see the greater demon's dead carcass there, and well, it was all very well done, a well done, good job though. And then Daro goes and scolds her, you know, for being reckless and doing everything all by herself, and just grabbing her hand, and Fran's like, oh, and he's just getting a lecture about the 10 rules or whatever, right? And so afterwards, like teacher, you see so happy about how she's skilled up, how she's powered up, you know, she's like level 25 now. And he has leveled up, his skills leveled up as well, and then just like Fran once again, she's like a little bit pouty because I just got my ass handed to me by Dora, and you just talk about skills. It's like, oh no. I was first talking about that, but I said I made my keep my promise, you know, because he promised her that if we defeat the dungeon master, right, I will make you curry. And she goes like, it's like, oh, he gets all giddy, you know, like, oh, she's so excited for dinner. It's like, what is they say? What is curry? So she was so excited for her curry dinner now, and also that going back to the guild master, back at the guild, right? Telling about giving the report and saying that all about the crystal, saying how. Because for such a greater demon like him, because they're bringing the body too for use for materials, but he's questioning about the crystal. Where did it go, right? And thinking that she may absorb it, took it for herself, right? But Franco says no, it was broken, it was destroyed, and it disappeared. And then also this guy, this big guy, twirling his little mustache, coming in saying, oh, I guess he must have saw some power saying that she's lying, you know, like a lie detector. And he's like, oh no, you know that you're lying now. That's not what happened. And then it ends right there. So the whole chemistry between teacher and, like I said, teacher and Fran, it's like basically a father-daughter, right? Father and daughter. Which I've really enjoyed the bond between these two have shared, and it was really kind of it's like a sweet bond, right? But like I said, Fran's able to admit, you know, providing that one great damage, she's saying that he is much too strong, you know. But we could retreat though, but the thing is, so more people will die if we don't stop this guy, right? So they have no choice but to press on, and. But you know, there is the other times I like the times where they're being humble. She'll be humble will suffer to more defeats, right? Not like defeat like, oh, so they're so injured like they find themselves you know, someplace else, you know, recovering, right? But they'll eventually have to accept like there will be other defeats, you know, or disadvantages that they'll go up against again. So, but I like that they acknowledge that they will. She is unable to beat someone who's stronger than she is, but until they work together as a team, you know, divide and conquer, they were able to defeat the person though. but just can't do it on their own, you know. And but Fran, she has really gone stronger. She has really gone stronger, and but she has been really such a brave character, and never backing down, and such a good teacher. You know, the sword dad. You can say the sword dad. You know, looking out for her, and being, like I said, being the father figure that he is to her. You know, and they just have a really cool, like a sweet and great chemistry they have with each other, and they were able to defeat the dungeon master and especially get some big level up points, you know, and now he'll be able to taste she'll be able to taste his curry. But the thing is, other than this guy comes in, regarding about that giant crystal, the guy comes in like he must have sort of abilities. You see a light in his eye saying, "Oh, she's lying." So great. Whereas how this guy, this nosy little weasel coming in. But we'll find out in the next episode though. But episode 6 was another really great episode. Like I said, for the fight scenes, the animation was really well done, and this is more of the great bond between teacher and Fran is really gone really once again has been really well made in this episode again. So first, like how she was all crying and pouty, you know, how first thought the teacher was dead, or I just got yelled at, and you're talking about your skills. So yeah, it's just another great episode. So episode 6 of Reincarnated as a Sword, another really good episode. I'm looking forward to the next one. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode review, and we'll see you on the next video. Later.